Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza Motorsport 6 with another silly car build. My vehicle today is the GMC Syclone, which, if I'm honest, is actually quite a crazy car to begin with. I do like the GMC Syclone. It's just one of those. It's a very FailRace vehicle, this one. Let's just make a pickup truck into a sports car, and it kind of works. To be honest, it's actually not a bad vehicle to drive with. But we're going to make one really rather crazy because, well, an engine that we're seeing a lot more of is the 5.9 litre V8 Racing. I can't remember, it might have gone into the Syclone in Forza 5. Oopsie, I pressed the wrong button there. Yeah, might have gone into the Syclone in Forza 5. I can't quite remember. But certainly this engine can go in a lot more vehicles, and I figured let's put it in a Syclone. Because why not make a near enough 1,000 horsepower pickup truck? Now, I could leave it as four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive is the safe option, but also the slightly more boring. Bloody hell, the PI drop in that is immense. Yeah, I've never seen it make that big of a difference. But yeah, I could leave it as four-wheel drive. I'm not going to. To make it more interesting for me, I'm going to make the truck to rear-wheel drive. Now, we're going to be wanting handling. Handling is a small bit of concern. I don't know what this is going to drive like as a rear-wheel drive. I've driven the Syclone plenty as a four-wheel drive truck. I don't know what to expect from the... from handling. I mean, we know it's not going to drive. I still have the same sort of traction potentially. Well, definitely not have the same sort of traction as the four-wheel drive. But we also might not have the same ridiculous understeer. Fingers crossed that we could potentially. I mean, we saw the Alpha, the rear-wheel drive Alfa Romeo 155 had an awful amount of understeer. Just look at these tyres. I was expecting to get sort of same size. Normally, four-wheel drive cars that are four-wheel drive from standard have the same size tyres front and rear. We've got 3 2.5s on the back and like 2.85s on the front. This could actually be pretty damn quick with these with these tyres. That's better than expected on it. That's definitely a lot better than expected. Okay, it's a pleasant surprise. I mean, weight is going to be a heavier vehicle. We're probably going to get it under the £3,000 mark though. Having a look through, so we stick on all of these racing parts. Yeah, we can get the weight down. It's the handling that's going to be the biggest issue. Are we going to be able to get it to go around corners without being sideways all the time? Fingers crossed that we can. A lot of cars I've thought would be a lot harder to drive on here than they actually turn out to. Almost everything I've built in this silly car build series and everything else as well, I was expecting cars to be more difficult than they actually turn out to be. I think Forza 6 maybe slightly more forgiving is might be a slight wrong on that, but yeah, certainly cars don't drive as quite as terribly as I expected. Yeah, under £3,000 in the Syclone, and take off the restrictors. We are going to be towards the top of S class. 1,000 horsepower, near enough 800 foot-pounds of torque in a relatively light pickup. Okay, the main question here really will be is how is it going to drive? Are we going to have a lot of oversteer, or are we going to be relatively planted? Potentially it could be with some decent rear tyres, although, of course, being a pickup truck, there isn't much weight over the back. What is the 55% weight at the front, and we've got the power going to the rear wheels. We may have, without that may be a slight issue. But then we will have to, we'll worry about that when we come to it, though. Of course, the first thing we must do is give the Syclone a benchmark time to try and beat. And today I've gone for something a little bit of a little bit different from the Syclone. We've got a Formula E car that I'm going to be driving around the Circuit of the Americas East route. We're going to go for 6 laps around this shortened layout of the Circuit of the Americas. It's I think the silly car build stands a good chance this time out, as this circuit has got a very, very long straight in which the Syclone will muller the Formula E car. However, there are still some sort of long corners. We're about to come up to here. There's the tight hair. Well, there's 2 sort of tight hairpins, and then there's these sort of long corners. And the question is, will the Syclone be able to carry the speed through here? The Formula E, I hated the Formula E in Forza 5. It was horrible. To me, to try and drive that car, it was not a nice vehicle. Really, not a nice vehicle to drive at all. It is better in 6. It is far better driving the Formula E's here. They're slightly less prone to their random oversteer moments that plagued it in Forza 5. You still have to be careful though. They will still slide around quite a bit when or if you push it a little bit too hard. So yeah, you got to be aware of that. The other big thing with these that is so very difficult is remembering to change gear in them. Because when you're driving a car, you know when it's time to change gear. You will hear it bouncing off the rev limiter if you've left it too late. Oh dear, curb has caused issues. Yeah, you'll hear a car bouncing off the rev limiter and so on, whereas in this, you can be going along and wondering why all the other cars are suddenly pulling away from you before you realise that you probably should have been changing gear. So that's something that takes some getting used to in these. There is lights on the dashboard that 90% of the time you can't see because the sun is on them and they're useless. They're just the most useless lights in existence. Oh, there we go, got a wheel caught on the curb. No, you can't see them. I don't know, it's terrible design of them. So yeah, I may end up missing a gear from time to time in this, or to have left it in a gear where I should have been changing up. You just don't bloody hear the car. Brakes, of course, though, are phenomenal on these. They get stopped very, very quickly. The curbs, I'm learning the curbs seem to be quite nasty around here. The curbs do seem to be quite vicious. Again, that's another trait that I've been seeing in quite a lot of tracks on here. Oh, there goes the back end again. Hey! Oh, pushing too hard. Especially at Lime Rock. Lime Rock has some awful curbs. They're really dangerous ones. Hockenheim has some mean ones. Definitely here as well in places. This has got some mean curbs as well. I know at least twice I've had this in the wrong gear. Oh, we've pushed it too hard on the exit of the corner. It's not so much sort of on power oversteer. Not really. I don't even know how much power do these things have. 257. There we go. That's all the power you get from one of these. So you don't really get very much on power oversteer. It's just the way the cars are set up, if you like. Yeah, in general though, these kind of track cars, they are better than they were in Forza 5. They did tend to be twitchy death machines. I left it in first for too long. One thing that you will notice, it took me a very long time to realise what it was, is that these Formula E cars, when they are getting towards the rev limiter, the controller will vibrate. It will gradually vibrate, and when it's up the rev limiter, it'll be well, I say it won't quite be vibrating like mad, but yeah, that's kind of what it tries to compensate for, to tell you that you need to be changing gear. The problem is, of course, if you're dealing with corners and so on, the controller can be vibrating for many reasons, or you're going across curves and so on, so you can't just use that as a sort of a guide, as a reference to when to check. Yeah, I'm doing the best that I bloody can here, but it's if you've driven a Formula E car, it's guaranteed to have happened at some point. You will have forgotten to be changing gears. Right, get it stopped for that. That's quite a nasty corner there. It's an interesting sort of coming off of the straight there. If we ever run this track and versus community, I could see there being many people missing the turn there. Oh, no. Stay on the road. We just need a smidge more rear end grip. Smidge more, and I would be pretty happy with the car. Just giving it some more camber, maybe a bit more downforce at the back, and it would be sorted. But there we go. Braking down into this final corner. This corner here is also a really much like the first turn as well at the main circuit. It's a really dodgy corner in that, especially if you're racing, online racing or whatever, people can take so many different lines into it, so many different approaches to that corner that, accidents often happen at that part of the track. Of course, when you're hot lapping, it's not so much of a problem. Oh, I've run a little bit wide there on the AstroTurf or on the grass. One thing I have certainly noticed is the likes like the AstroTurfs and the slight runoff areas. Got to be really careful if you do dip a wheel on that and you're trying to keep the momentum up, keep sort of flooring the throttle or whatever, because that does not have the grip of the circuit. I've explored everywhere this lap. This lap's not been a good one. Yeah, if you dip a wheel on the AstroTurf as you go to leave a corner and you try to get on the power, you will get the car sideways, certainly, if you are not careful. And I'm taking a different line every lap through that final hairpin. But we are not going to be going quicker on this final one. Ran too wide on a couple of corners, and that was it. Right. Ooh, oopsie. I was about to mess about and forgot how twitchy these cars are if you're not smooth with them. Yeah, you got to be smooth with them. Okay. The Virgin Formula E car, it did a time, it's gone now, where have we gone? Time, 51.317 is the target time for the NASCAR engine Syclone to try and beat. I think it stands a chance, but it's still going to be pretty tough. Right, onto the turn of the Syclone. There will be much more noise. So that proper engine. Much more noise from this car. Probably much more sideways as well. Let's see if we can beat a 51-second lap time. I'll be honest, I was expecting more traction from this car. I was really expecting that to do better. Oh, good God, we don't have the brakes, the Formula E. But bit of a shock to the system going from that to this. Oh, it's very slippery out there. This does not have the traction that I was half expecting it to have. I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be better off the line with decent size. Oh, good God, we don't turn either. There is none of the steering at all in this car. Well, go on, make the turn. Oh, tyre bundle. Don't know if we hit that. I think we just about avoided it. On the road. No, curb bad. Fighty car. Okay, oh no, power. Maybe not quite yet. Alright, we've got to be more patient on the throttle. I really thought we could be able to get away with a little bit more of just jump on the power. I knew you'd have to be a bit careful, but apparently no, we have to be really quite careful. Okay, and launch. Go on, car. Fire down the straight. Doing 175. We're going to get on the brakes. That's not going to be enough either. That was, yeah, okay. We're going to have to be braking about the start-finish line, I think. That was, yeah, very out-braked myself on that part. Luckily, there's plenty of runoff area. There'd been a wall there, it would have been bye-bye GMC. Oh, I forgot, can't turn. We were just, Well, this is a trend we're seeing. Cars are really understeer. Like, the understeer here is far more of a problem. Oh, I think it could have just been a bloody curb. It just lifted the back of the truck up. I think it could have been that I was slightly spoilt with the turn-in of the Formula E, and then going to this, that, well, yeah, was never likely to have quite the handling, but, oh, good God, that understeer is incredible. Or the understeer from what I'm expecting it to be doing, and yeah, that's interesting. Right, make it around the hairpin, and then we fire it down here, so if we push it to 175, we're never stopping for the corner off of the track. So maybe if we kind of stick on the brakes here, is that going to work? That was a little bit too early, but at least we are actually going to make the turn this time around. So we're gonna, we've made it very sideways. In fact, we've made it incredibly sideways. And well, I mean, we didn't fall off the road as much this time. We didn't make the turn, so we've got to be really super slow through here, like 60 miles an hour, and then be again really careful through here. We just got to try and use. There are two like big acceleration zones that we can use the power. Oh, good God, we're up on two wheels. No, bad cyclone indeed. Bloody curbs, and then we can fire it down here. Speed. Up towards this corner, and then brakes and frantically pray that it gets stopped, and it does just about, and then wait and unleash the power. There we go. Once we're in third gear, then we can unleash the power, but only when we are in third gear can we unleash that power. Whoa, okay, I had a little panic going over the crest of the hill there. I thought I was about to lose it big time, but we got it stopped and understeered off. Yeah, we have it. I thought this might actually do better. I thought that since, we've got some half-decent tyres and so on, no curb, and also with a lot of weight over the front, I was hoping we'd have some decent front-end grip, but nope, none of the front-end grip, so curb avoid. Oh, curb avoid, then track avoid. I can do that. We'll just make up our own racetrack. That's what we're doing here with the Syclone. No, bad Syclone. Stay on the road, please. Thank you. And then on the brakes once more, down into the hairpin, just hopefully it'll get stopped. I thought this might stand a chance here. I really thought this would stand a chance at this track against a Formula E. At the moment it's not looking likely. We've got 2 more laps to try and get this around. Oh, it might still do it. Ooh. It lifts itself up across the bump there. That's terrifying. No. That's such a tight corner than I'm expecting. With the... Oh, good God, no. Careful now, right, got to really slow it down through here, and I've not slowed it down enough. I'm just trying to use the power in the little bits that I can, and then we've got to avoid the curbs, because otherwise they will try and murder me. avoiding the curbs, go a mile away from the apex because it's better than going up on two wheels, and then try and unleash some power on the way down here. Can't fully unleash it because there's the kink down this bit here that we have to be careful of. Then unleash the power some more, 135 miles an hour down to this hairpin. Oh, and then, oh look at that, I found an apex and we didn't have a massive accident. Impressive from the Syclone. Such a silly vehicle, this one. Living up to its name quite well, I think. Right, I've been brave with that. I've been very brave. Across the bump there, and we've slowed it. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We've made the corner with just dipping two wheels over the outside on the exit there. Come on, Syclone. I braked earlier. It's not early enough, though. That's such an awkward plip to get the braking right. I keep trying to brake where I think is good, and it's just still far too late. Again, it's wanting to get up onto two wheels, but if we can hold it together now, we stand a chance. Oh, got it leaning through the corner. Come on, Syclone, on the brakes. You can beat the electric Formula car. You probably could if I hadn't. Oh, no, I've got the braking okay there. Just don't get oversteer, don't get oversteer, or too much of it. Go on, truck. Let's do this. We are going to cross the line at 50.7. It did it. The Syclone made it with a lot of persuading and a great deal of difficulty. The GMC Syclone did beat the Formula E car on what is a relatively simple track with a very long straight. It did it though. Some celebratory donuts from the from the Syclone. Oh, this car is interesting. Yeah, the cars I've built so far had actually been pretty good to drive. This, not quite so much. This does not have the traction I had hoped it would have. Hates the curbs, and an awful lot of understeer. But there is so much power available for the little bits where you can use it, that the Syclone does go quicker than the Formula E. But now it is time to see how quick it can go in a straight line when we take it to the Le Mans Straight. I'm expecting this to be pretty quick. We've seen a couple of cars be doing 230-ish miles an hour. I would expect the Syclone to perhaps be getting up to a similar speed. It may be ever so slightly slower, being, well, not the most aerodynamical of shapes, let's face it. But it's not the worst, certainly. I'm hoping we may have to extend some gear ratios, because that dumping the aero off suddenly made it go slower, which is peculiar. How has that made sense? Have I put the aero on by accident? Have we? I'm very confused. What's going on with this car? It said 210, and then I took the aero off, and now it's 203. What the? So what if I do this? Are we going to suddenly go magically faster? Surely that shouldn't work. We are Huh? Maybe this car is so bad at high speeds it needs the downforce? I am befuddled by all of this. Okay, well what I'm going to do is let's just have the gears so it's saying 211 it reckons we can get the Syclone to here. Now, if we're out of steam at 211, I will pause the game and take the aero off because we can do that. That's very weird. It could just be the benchmark is being dodgy, or it could be that this car is genuinely that bad when we try and get it up to speed, and if we take the aero off, it would try and fly. Maybe. I've never had that happen before at a Forza game. I've never seen that particular outcome, even with all the ridiculous silliness that I've built. That's never occurred. So, yeah, sticking more aero on equals more top speed, apparently. Sure, okay. Let's go for it and see what happens. As expected, I mean, we're not particularly pleasant through these first few corners. Oh no, curb bad. Somehow we'll save that. There we go. Don't hit the curbs with the silly Syclone. It doesn't really work particularly well. Right, so there's that bit there on the outside that we get every car caught on, and I've still not quite got the hang of how to deal with it. Right, okay, Syclone. Let's see what happens when we try and drive you at 200 miles an hour. We've had some interesting cars down here so far. The Alpha was a bit wibbly-wobbly, the Dodge was a little bit more, and the Rally Fighter was a lot more. So, what on earth is going to happen with the GMC, I don't know, and why on earth it reckons we need all the downforce for the speed run. I also equally don't know. Let's put you up into 6th then. I mean, this does not seem like the downforce is... Is it that 207? So, what we're going to do is, because I think the thing may be glitched, we'll just drop that down a little bit, because I think we're out of gear, well, we're just sort of too high a gearing at the moment, and we'll take off the aero. And if suddenly I lose control of the car, I'll know it was telling the truth, basically. So that reckons 210, and that reckons 23. So we're at 206 at the moment when I paused it. What happens now? Oh, yeah, there is pronounced problems. The game wasn't lying. The game was not lying at all. Holy crap! Wow, that is something completely new. Well, so at like 190 or something, the truck lifts up if you take the downforce off, because that was, I mean, you saw on the little tyre indicator that the tyres were getting stupidly hot, so it was just spinning its wheels. Yeah, there we go, 100, we're going to lose control of it again. This is an interesting thing. Yeah, I mean, I've no doubt that this could do 210. Okay, that's pretty much a given. We're at 206 with wonky gears, and we could have made the turn fine with the high downforce. I am now kind of curious, how on earth, how fast can I go with the downforce taken off? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spin it around and go the other way, because this is a whole new experience that I've built many cars. I've speed run with many vehicles down here, many silly cars with dodgy upgrades and so on. I mean, some of the muscle cars that I've run before have had issues, but that's been to do with sort of suspension issues. I've been running on standard suspension and trying to get into 200 miles an hour. This is a whole, dear God, it just doesn't... 100, okay, what speed are we up to now? 160 we're having issues now. 180 we're having huge issues. Put it up into 6. Oh, good God, no, it's gone. 190, we lost it. Oh, fight it, I brought it, I don't know how on earth I'd save that one there. God dear, this is something else. It's just, the back end does not feel like it's connected to the road at all. I think we may have inadvertently made an aeroplane. 192, we hit a bump, we're gone. The back end of the truck just doesn't stay on the ground at that, with that downforce setting. I know I've lost a wing at the moment. It's irrelevant because we've got this on cosmetic damage, so the fact that it's fallen off has made no difference to the vehicle. That is bizarre. That is beyond bizarre, in fact. I wonder if it's noticeable from this view. Do we see the back do anything weird? I'm not sure we're going to have enough time to get to scary speeds. You don't really see anything, particularly. It's just, we try to go around a corner, and it's... the back end is just lifting up, almost. Well, that is new. That... that is quite incredible, really, from the Syclone. Let's just go and give it some aero back again. Where are you? Aero. Yeah, we want all of this. Wow, I've not had a car or truck in this case. I mean, even the El Caminos that I've had El Caminos running standard suspension with no aero on previous Forza games with 900 horsepower, and they don't do what the Syclone does. I mean, the El Camino is a similar thing, really, isn't it? It's a pickup. One of these sort of sports I say low slung pickups, but relatively speaking, with very little weight over the back and plenty of weight at the front. And the El Camino doesn't do it, but something about this Syclone, if you take the aero off, makes it undrivable. At speeds more than about 160, you start losing it. You can vaguely control it up to about 190, but more, you hit a bump at 190, you're gone. There's bugger all you're doing to stop that truck. With the full aero on this, and speedrun's no problem. Although that bump there, it wanted to get away from me. I lied, speedrun is still a problem. The bumps... yeah, this thing get up in the air ever so slightly and you've had it, basically. Whoa, look at that. We very nearly rolled it. That's the first car to nearly roll it through that. Certainly rolling it because of the bumps. Yeah, get off the wall. The Syclone is by far the silliest car that I've built, and this was the car that I thought might... oh, never mind. I give up trying to guess what's going to happen with cars. I think cars drive badly, they drive well. I'm thinking, right, okay, so I've been expecting them to drive badly, they're good. This might drive quite well, and it's shocking. It does beat the Formula E, though. It is the first silly car build to beat its target. Admittedly, I did give it a... a kind of sense of, I thought it was a target that it could stand a chance of beating, especially at the circuit. It did beat the Formula E, but it's a very, very difficult car to drive, and you take the aero off, I can speak, and crazy happens, basically. Well, there we go. We have learned something new today. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and until next time, goodbye.